Good morning, Kavibal, and welcome to our Happy Homeschool special Facebook Live learning session. For the discussion today, the topic will be on changing perspective, homeschooling in the digital world. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. Make sure you are registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.vibalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Place your questions on the comment box allotted during the session and they will be addressed by our speaker later on. Share the video using hashtag LearnAs1PH as our official hashtag to our Vibal webinars. Experience learning ka Vibal. And now, to proceed with our webinar this morning, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker. He is a graduate of Bachelor in Secondary Education, major in English at the Philippine Normal University in 2011. He obtained his Master of Arts major in Communication degree at the Ateneo de Manila University. He has been a teacher for almost a decade and has already taught English, literature, public speaking, and research classes. He also represented the Philippines in various international research conferences about education and communication. He has been delivering CPD trainings and teacher seminars across the country for more than 3 years. He is also into journalism as he has already experienced handling a number of student publications in various schools and universities, including San Beda University and the University of Santo Tomas. At present, he is working as a faculty member at the University of Santo Tomas Junior High School, where he teaches communication arts and journalism courses. And at the same time, he is one of the education consultants of Vibal Group Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our speaker for this morning, Mr. Joram Kim Corcuera, MALPT.
All right. Thank you, Miss Kia, for that introduction. To everyone who's watching right now, good morning po. Isang magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. All right. So indeed, my dear teachers, my dear formators, my dear educators, learning does not stop and will never stop. Despite the threat of the pandemic, we are still here, of course, to get new insights and understand new concepts that we hope to apply when classes officially resume. I guess this is the very reason why we teachers are actually called modern heroes. It's primarily because we endure everything for our students. However, of course, right now, there's pandemic, there are a lot of changes, and of course, these changes are indeed inevitable. Even in the field of education, this famous saying is being immortalized. These changes, or should I call opportunities for improvement, developments in the field of education, have truly brought a challenge to us educators, especially that the learners right now, of course, are far different from the learners that we used to be before, a few years or several years ago. And I guess this is because we belong to different generations, exposed to different set of cultures. Again, to those who are watching us right now, especially to my teachers, to my co-teachers in UST Junior High School, yan, lalong-lalo na yung English department, of course. Again, good morning. I hope you will be able to get new insights today as we explore how we can use the different modes of learning in the 21st century and how technology can assist us in making learning more fun and engaging for our learners. Again, welcome to our webinar today entitled Changing Perspective, Homeschooling in the Digital World. Again, I am Mr. Joram Kim Corcuera, a graduate of the Philippine Normal University and of the Ateneo de Manila University. And at present, just like what Miss Kia made mention earlier, I am working as a faculty member at the UST Junior High School. All right, so let me share po with you the PowerPoint presentation that I actually prepared. Okay. Again po, ayan. So nakikita niyo na po siguro sa screens niyo yung the PowerPoint that I actually prepared po. Okay. So following the emergence of coronavirus 2019 pandemic, educational sectors, not only in the Philippines, but in the entire world, of course, announced the shift in the instruction from the traditional learning to remote learning and online learning. In the Philippines, of course, in our own country, the Department of Education made an announcement that they will be implementing distance learning, blended learning, or homeschooling for the next academic year, especially for the first semester. However, these changes that will truly reshape the field of education in our country, unfortunately, were not openly welcomed and embraced by the students and the parents, despite being the only solution to avoid having an academic freeze. And these are the things that we are going to explore today. how we, educators and formators, of course, can address the various needs of the students in the 21st century, of course, without having that academic freeze. Again, my dear teachers, students, fellow formators, and educators, welcome po to our session today. So allow me po to share with you our webinar outline. So what would be the flow of our discussion po today? So first, of course, we're going to have homeschooling in the Philippines. So briefly, I'm going to discuss what's the status of homeschooling in the Philippines, what is homeschooling in general, how do we differentiate and draw the line between homeschooling and distance learning, tips for homeschoolers, types of homeschooling in the Philippines, the two types po, independent homeschooling, and of course, the accredited DepEd providers, and of course, how Vival, kumbaga Inis, kumbaga would like to address, of course, the needs of this homeschooler. So Vival's initiative to assist homeschoolers, and of course, lastly, I'll be briefly discussing also the PEPT. But before I deep dive, of course, into homeschooling, in every webinar po kasi that I conduct, CPD training, teacher seminar, I always start with a quote of the day. So today's quote po, ayan, comes from Roger Lewin. Let me read it for you. Too often, we give children answers to remember rather than problems to solve. As an educator, it is a must for us to understand that our learners nowadays are far different from the learners several years ago. Indeed, today's students process information differently from their predecessors. Before, our curriculum is knowledge-based, right? But of course, right now we're having K-12 curriculum, the use of the most essential learning competencies. These innovations, of course, we would be able to notice that these are, of course, skill-based, diba? We focus before on what we must remember. But because of the many changes in the field of education, of course, starting from the curriculum, from the school setup, the educational system, the assessment, the way we handle, the way we teach our students already develop and change. Nowadays, it is important for us to give them questions and that address the higher order thinking skills. Diba dati ang gusto natin, memorization. But right now, of course, ang target natin would have to be the HOTS. Because this, of course, would not only help our students acquire the knowledge, but also develop the skills they need to gain academic success. In the 21st century, teachers are also expected to address not only the needs of the students, but also their learning preferences. Tatandaan po natin yan ha, learning preferences, okay? To ensure that the learners will be more engaged in the lessons, allowing them, of course, to make learning not a one-sided serious process. Of course, another change in the field of education that is very noticeable would have to be the educational environment. Diba? Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the use of technology in the field of education has already been prevalent, di ba? Virtual classrooms, online learning, even before COVID, ginagamit na yan, di ba? The use of these things, of course, has truly spread like a wildfire since the members of the Generation Z, our students, are known for having innate skills in terms of using technology. So yan po ang ating quote ngayong araw na to. And of course, we're going to use those insights as we try to explore, of course, homeschooling. But right now, let us try to define what is homeschooling. Ano nga po ba ang homeschooling, di ba? Here. All right. So what is homeschooling? Homeschooling is a progressive movement around the country and the world in which parents educate their children at home instead of sending them to a traditional public or private school. That's according to Martin in 2020. And according to Shaw, it involves a commitment by a parent guardian to oversee their child's educational development. So as you can see, written in bold letters po, parents educate their children at home, commitment by a parent guardian to oversee their child's educational development, because that is the main difference of homeschooling to any other modes of education. When you say homeschooling, who are their main teachers? It would always be, of course, the teacher. It would always be, of course, their parents. All right? So now let us try to differentiate. Considering na alam na natin, it would be the parents, diba? But how do we differentiate it? How do we draw the line between homeschooling and distance learning? Ito po kasi, diba, right now, all of us teachers and of course learning providers, education providers are going to do full online in the upcoming semester. Now with this, some parents tend to be confused with regards to this concept. So allow me to enlighten, of course, our views and hopefully draw the line between these two things. Pag sinabi po natin homeschooling and distance learning, of course, both things would happen sa bahay, lalo na po in the upcoming semester. But of course, there are a lot of differences between the two. So allow me to read first. So homeschooling is a way of life that occurs for an extended period of time. It is a way of doing school at home where parents serve as the primary educators of their children. Again, highlighted po would have to be parents serve as primary educators. In distance learning po, also known as at-home learning, is also remote learning. Okay? It is a teacher-led process where students are expected to complete activities at home within a specific schedule. So bold letters po, teacher-led process. So the biggest difference would be in homeschooling po, of course, it's the parents are the ones educating their children. In distance learning, we have the teachers. Ano po, to make things more clear po, homeschooling takes place when you are not enrolled in a regular school. Okay? So even before COVID-19 pandemic, this is already existing. Homeschool children, homeschool students do not need to come to school to attend regular classes daily. Okay? So on the other hand, distance learning, ito naman po yung gagawin natin, di ba? So what we educators in the regular school will be implementing in the upcoming semester. So it can be offered online or pwede rin pong modular. So may teachers pa din po, and of course the students are enrolled in a regular school. Okay? So but today po our focus would not be about distance learning. Okay? I've watched some of the webinars of Bibal in the past days. Marami po nag-talk about distance learning. But today, of course, just like what Miss Kia told you earlier, our focus would be on homeschooling. So as we try to discuss homeschooling further, for some of you would be asking, bakit? Why do people consider homeschooling? Okay, so allow me to give you some of the benefits of homeschooling. Okay, so first, education is personalized and customized based on the unique learning style, needs, and interests of the students and the parents. Indeed, my dear teachers, my dear parents, my dear educators and formators, the learning preferences of the students are undoubtedly significant and important, di ba? And we have to consider the fact that these learning preferences are not the same with what we usually had before when we were still students. Of course, as educators, tatandaan natin, kahit na meron tayong teaching preferences, the preferences of our students, their learners' preferences, the learning styles of our students would be very important. Not to mention, we have diverse students, di ba? Iba-iba yung mga estudyante natin. May estudyante sa multiple intelligences na magaling sa kinesthetic, meron mas magaling sa pagsusulat. Of course, when it comes to their skills, we have average learner, fast learner, slow learner. So these are the things that can be addressed through homeschooling, okay? So, di ba, alam naman natin, even if these children, these students come from the same generation, of course, they still have a lot of differences. And through homeschooling, you're able, of course, to address those things easily since it is mostly done on a one-to-one correspondence. So na-address po talaga yung personalized talaga yung education para sa mga bata. Second, homeschooling provides a portable education system. The curriculum is known for its flexibility. In fact, even the schedule of classes can be adjusted based on the parents and the students' preferences. Indeed, ito naman, kung kanina sinabi natin flexible, di ba? Flexible sa style ng pagtuturo. Ito rin po, flexible din po in terms of saan gagawin yung pagtuturo, kailan gagawin yung pagtuturo. Why? Because homeschooling allows children, of course, allows parents to educate their children even during the time of, for example, a family relocation to another state or to another country, because there is no need for these parents to stop educating their children while looking for another school, di ba? So with regards to schedule, students need not be absent whenever they have specific events to attend or immediate concerns to address, because their parents can easily adjust the academic schedule of their children. So flexible po talaga siya. That's why if you're going to ask me what's the main word that would kumbaga, show the benefits or the strength of homeschooling, it would really be flexibility. All right. So number 3. So families of homeschooled children are expected to be less stressful when it is free from the demands of educational institution. I think everyone would be one with me, or you would be agreeing with me if I say that we often hear parents, students, kids talk about how relieved they feel from being freed of traditional schooling and nightly homework. Diba kapag bakasyon, mga batang saya-saya, nawawala their stress nila. So with independent learning, they have more time to talk and listen, more time to spend in libraries, go to museums, concert halls, hike, bike, read, think, do leisure activities, and then the like. So of course, these changes are what happens when the family life is driven by the needs of the families rather than the needs of the institutions. Not only that, homeschooling, of course, also allows them to make a change from a negative school environment. Let's say, for example, may mga traumatic experiences na bully, na nagkaroon ng negative influences. Of course, homeschooling allows them to get rid of those things, di ba? And of course, pag sinabi natin na less stressful, andun din syempre yung bond, di ba? The bond between the parents and the students, the homeschooled children, of course, is being strengthened because they spend a lot of time together and they create first-hand experience and of course, share learning milestones together. So, syempre, di ba, kung pag may na-achieve ka na something great, di ba? Something that you can be proud of, tapos kasama mo yung parents mo, it becomes more memorable. Okay? So, number 4, okay? Students develop their social skills through experiential learning. Homeschooling also provides them opportunities to interact with people of other ages who are exposed to different set of cultures, which allow them to be more comfortable with variety of people. My dear viewers po, ngayong araw na to, there is a misconception po kasi pag sinabi natin homeschooling. A lot of people actually believe na pag homeschool daw ang children, they lack social skills. But the truth here is that there are specific researches that would contradict that specific idea. Okay? So without the social pressure from peers, from age-segregated classroom, kids feel more comfortable forming friendships, diba? However, of course, in homeschooling, the trend is not only to see these children, homeschool children, to talk with people of their age. Diba? Kadalasan ng kausap nila, hindi lang sibling nila, hindi lang kaibigan nila, hindi lang newcomers, pati yung mga mas nakakatanda sa kanila. So that's why playing with each other and with adults in an self-conscious way, normal yun sa kanila. Okay? So why? Because many people who come into contact with homeschooled children, actually, sabi nila, mas sanay daw kasi yung mga bata. Why? Why do we have to say this one? Kasi po, when you talk about homeschool children, diba, they are able to practice it. Let's say, for example, the teacher or the parent taught them, okay, so this is how you talk, for example, this is how you talk, for example, when you're going to a supermarket. So, pagpunta nila ng supermarket, the parent can really ask the child to do it for him. Kumbaga, to do it po talaga. So, the kid, of course, with the guidance of the parents, can go to the market, buy specific stuffs, talk to the business owners. So in other words po, the students are able to apply what they're learning in the real world, di ba? So na-apply po nila in a real world setting, which of course removes the dissonance for them to deal with other people, even if these people belong to different ages, right? So number 5, graduates of homeschooling are well-disciplined and self-directed learners since they make a lot of decisions during their homeschooling journey. And of course, they are more likely to be less dependent. Just like in a regular school, made their parents, made their teachers and formators, students, of course, are given responsibilities. However, in homeschooling, diba, according to research, they are more accountable. Why? Because homeschool children are given more opportunities to choose and make decisions for their homeschooling journey. And of course, if, for example, they make the wrong decisions, they choose the wrong options, and they would be, of course, facing the consequences because they're used to getting to being amenable for the choices and the decisions that they make. So mas nagiging accountable and responsible po talaga sa kanila. But of course, when you talk about the benefits, hindi pwedeng mawala yung disadvantages or what we call the pitfalls of homeschooling. So just like the benefits, I gave you 5, in the pitfalls, I also gave you 5. Okay, I will also give you 5 rather. So pitfalls of homeschooling. Number 1, for the parents, homeschooling will be very tiring, demanding, and time-consuming since it is a full-time job, especially for the very young learners. No doubt, my dear viewers po, teaching is tiring, believe me. Ako na po magsasabi sa inyo, nakakapagod po magturo. But when you have the heart for it, your undying passion will continue burning. Diba? Yung fire na yun, hindi yan mawawala. So make it an enjoyable ride for you and your kids. Fill it with fun and stop worrying too much. You can have gamification, you can use technology para at least hindi siya sobrang exhausting. Diba? You have to mix fun as well. Kumbaga sabi nga nila, learning and at the same time having fun is the best way, of course, of educating someone. So dapat po mix tayo palagi. Alright? Second, some students lack communication skills, especially when conversing and collaborating with their peers. Ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina. Some researchers actually claim that homeschooled children lack social skills because they are not exposed to dealing with children of their ages. Kasi diba, in a normal school setup, of course, they're forced to talk to their classmates kasi araw-araw silang pumapasok. However, this idea, of course, was opposed by many, diba? Even by researchers, because for these people, their children are not only able to communicate of their age. they're also able to communicate from people of the other ages. So sabi nila, hindi totoo yan kasi in fact, sa school, ang nakakausap lang nila, students, kaedad nila, and teachers. But sa homeschooling, na-expose namin sila sa iba't ibang tao. So, mas na-develop yung kanilang social skills. Well, if you're going to ask me, I guess it would depend on the program that you're going to implement. If you will lock your children, for example, inside your homes, then you cannot expect them to develop fully their social skills. But if you will be exposing them, diba? If you will be giving them opportunities to deal with other people outside, then I guess, of course, it would have to be the latter. They would be able, of course, to develop their social skills. A third, the preparation for the PEPT or the Philippine Educational Placement Test might be very stressful, since the result of the Z exam will determine whether or not the homeschooling journey of your students, of course, is successful. When I talk about the PEPT, it's like the board exam. Parang board exam yan ng mga homeschool children at the end of the school year. So it's the final assessment that can tell, of course, if the students of this homeschool children will be allowed to go back to the regular school and, of course, progress to another level. So more information about the PEPT po, I'll be discussing them po later po towards the end of our presentation today. All right? So, of course, number 4, some parents tend to reproduce traditional classroom materials and use old teaching strategies that might not fit the learning preferences of their child. Ito po yung sinasabi ko palagi. Change has come, and we need to change with them. And if we, educators and formators, will stick to the old styles of teaching, use old instructional materials, then we are not being teachers. Remember, teachers are mentors and not tormentors, di ba? Tatandaan po natin yan. So if we are not, of course, able to address their need, their want, their preferences, then we are actually tormenting them. We're not actually mentoring them. So despite having our own paideia, our own strengths, we must always remember that the preferences of our audience is something that we should never, ever forget to address. Tatandaan po natin yan. Saka syempre, nag-iiba na din po yung pangangailangan. Comparing the curriculum of K-12 to the old curriculum, to the ibang-iba na po yan. To the RBEC, ibang-iba na po yan. So, kailangan po talaga mag-adapt tayo, di ba? Parang kami sa teachers, we train because, of course, we adapt the innovation. We embrace changes. Same thing din po sa parents. So, yun. Number 5, of course, it is impossible for a home to be as well equipped as a regular school in terms of facilities, especially for example, science classes, di ba? For classes that require experiments like biology, chemistry, physics, it would be hard, of course, to get all the necessary equipments, materials, kumbaga apparatus, and so on and so forth. So, yun po yung isa sa disadvantages. Of course, the home would also lack facilities for sports, di ba? For PE classes. Wala naman tayong swimming pool kung may swimming lesson tayo, not unless medyo fortunate talaga tayo, financially gifted tayo. Of course, we need running tracks, gyms, fields. So, ito po yung mga bagay na first na hindi rin natin mapoprovide ng basta-basta if we do, of course, homeschooling. Alright? So, now, considering, after giving, of course, the benefits, the general definition of homeschooling, the pitfalls of homeschooling, then right now, allow me to give you some tips, of course, for homeschooler, especially if you are a first-time homeschooler. I'm hoping that the tips that I would be mentioning in the succeeding slides would be useful po. Okay? So first, develop a schedule. Okay? Not just a timetable for homeschooling activities, but a plan for you for how you order your time as a family. Think through your long-term plans and include the instructional materials and facilities needed in your planning. Set learning goals together. Indeed, my dear parents, without a clear structure, the students' homeschooling journey can be easy to get distracted or to be off task and the like. So talaga pong kailangan planado. 'Di ba? Sabi nga dito, kung hindi ka makagawa ng schedule, then at least set targets. Diba? Kasi sometimes, of course, you have to, there would be times talaga na hindi mo talaga masusundan yung schedule. So sabi nila, you can also use colors, you can, according to some researchers, you can use flow charts, diba? To make engaging more learning and more exciting. Ako naisip ko dito, for example, diba? Parang pag may mga coffee book, diba? Yung mga planner, parang may stickers na pag na-achieve mo to, automatic, you move to the next one. So, pwede tayong mag-ganon. Diba? You can have like parang gamification na parang may stickers or bingo cards or any graphics illustration na parang journey ng mga bata para at least andun din yung feeling nila na we're almost done, so I should be doing this. So if you cannot have the schedule talaga, na time schedule talaga, then you can consider po what I actually mentioned earlier. Also, of course, do not forget to build learning into daily routines and activities. Think through your long-term plans and schedule the instructional materials and facilities needed in your planning. Set learning goals, of course, together. Mahalaga po yun together. Why? Because the kid must understand that everything that you're doing is not for, of course, the parents, but it's for them. So, of course, when the kids understand that this is something that would really be beneficial for them in the future, then they would be, kumbaga, exerting more effort in ensuring that they would be able, of course, to gain academic success. Second, create a designated space create a designated learning space. Prepare your learning environment to help your child in focusing to the lessons and in avoiding distractions. Believe me, it's hard to determine for the kids when it is time to play, when it is time for leisure, when it is time for education, especially for the younger ones. Okay? So it is a must for you to designate a specific place for learning. Na pag nandito sila, mag-aaral sila. Siguro this is something also that we should adapt in distance learning, di ba? Na talagang pag nandito, mag-aaral, hindi pwedeng nakahiga habang nag-aaral, of course, because there are a lot of factors that you must consider. And make sure that the designated place, of course, is conducive for learning. Remove all the materials that can serve as distractions. Di ba? So, tanggalin natin yung lahat para at least may focus yung mga bata. Remember, according to brain researches, ang attention span ng bata nasa 10 to 15 minutes lang. So, kapag itong distraction na to andito, yung 10 to 15 minutes, iikli pa yun, di ba? So, the more that we have to ensure that the learning space ng mga homeschool children, actually hindi lang homeschool, talagang nabibigay natin talaga sa kanila na it's really conducive for learning. Alright? So, number 3, be there for your children and don't let technology alone serve as their teacher during their homeschooling journey. Take learning beyond the classroom. Diba? You can like play board games, you can practice baking and cooking, you can learn household management together, you can write emails, visit museums together, visit local businesses together. So, kumbaga, labas mo tayo. So, pero together, 'di ba? Kasi ang problema po dito, of course, ang minsan nagiging ang napag-iisipan natin, since technology, of course, right now is very informative, inisip natin the video alone can serve as their teacher. Sabi nga nila, 'di ba? These different technologies show promise. Talagang promising talaga, but never. Kumbaga itong mga technology na to, mapofulfill yung function nila without, of course, having teachers who would be creative and innovative, of course, in making these technologies, kumbaga, do its function. So, talagang kailangan po talaga na nandun tayo, of course. Also, of course, in your homeschooling journey, before giving of yourself and your kid, it's normal to commit mistakes from time to time. So, bond, di ba? Make it a family activity. Share your excitement with your kids, of course, in their homeschooling journey. Okay? Next, number 4, prepare financially. Consider the cost of keeping one parent at home as the primary educator and the cost of supplies and facilities needed for the homeschooling journey of your kid. Of course, it is expected. When you say homeschooling, kadalasan dyan, yung isang parent po, of course, would be full-time teacher, diba? Full-time parent slash teacher, diba? Homeschool teacher. So some parents might think that homeschooling is not costly. Isipin nila, because they don't need to pay the tuition, the miscellaneous fees. However, diba, para magbabayad lang sila pag may service provider. However, this is a myth. Why? Because as educators, you need to buy a lot of stuff. Diba? Instructional materials, gaya na sinabi ko kanina, laboratory apparatus or anything, any instructional material that would be needed, of course, for the kids to acquire the knowledge, to develop the skills stated, of course, in the curriculum provided by the Department of Education. So, mahagastos din po talaga. Okay? So, number 5, of course, prepare valid assessments. Don't just stick to knowledge-based questions. Instead, try to address skills-based competencies too. Always target the higher order thinking skills or the HOTS. Alam niyo po, my dear teachers, my dear parents, students din po na nanonood ngayon. Of course, gaya na sinabi ko kanina, change has come in the field of education and even even po in assessment. 'Di ba before po ang natatandaan ko nung nag-aaral pa ako, karamihan talaga memorization. As long as I would be able to memorize, okay na ako, 'di ba? But right now, of course, may kita naman natin sa grading system, ang mas mahalaga po yung skills. So we also ask the same questions. We also ask questions, of course, that would test if the students are able to adapt the skill. Lalong-lalo na po that the students are going to take the PEPT. So meron silang final test, diba? So it is very important. And it really, the PEPT would play a crucial role for the academic success. So dapat po, of course, we prepare them with questions as well na talagang kumbaga kahawig ng PEPT so that they would be prepared for the exam. Alright? So number 6, collaborate with other homeschoolers online or join a local homeschooling group. Of course, pag sinabi nating local homeschooling group, you can have it in social media. Ako, I tried to join some homeschooling group for this presentation. So, nung sumali ako, ang dami ko natutunan, di ba? Marami akong natutunan. So, you can also do the same thing because you would also learn from others' experiences, okay? You can find a mentor as well or a tutor that can help you address the needs of your child. Kasi minsan, di ba, despite us being knowledgeable, mas emotional tayo, di ba? Kasi anak natin yon, di ba? So, in facilitating, of course, the education of your children. So, of course, if you're going to look for tutors, if you're going to look for service providers, then I'm happy to tell you that, of course, Vival is one of the, kumbaga talagang andayin talaga yung passion ng Vival na matulungan ng mga magulang ngayon. So, with this, allow me to introduce to you Vival's initiative to help homeschoolers in our country, in the Philippines. Of course, this is what we call the Happy Homeschool Project. Okay? Having said all of the things that I mentioned earlier, diba? Vival Group, of course, created a program that would not only be able to help the students to continue receiving quality education, even in the time of pandemic, but also, of course, to be able to address their learning preferences in the 21st century. And that is, of course, through the Happy Homeschool Project. So what is Vival's Happy Homeschool Project? So Vival's Happy Homeschool Project is, of course, the K-10 homeschool program for independent homeschooling parents and learners. I-highlight po natin na independent homeschooling. So mamaya po, I will define kung ano ba ibig sabihin ng independent homeschooling. Ibig sabihin ba nun, if they would be availing the services of Vival sa Happy Homeschool, pag natapos sa school year, magpo-progress ba sila sa next level? So this is, of course, these are some of the questions, of course, that I'm going to answer po later on. But then again, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, let me just reiterate, okay? So, when I talk about happy homeschooling, gaya ng sinabi ko po kanina, dalawa po yan. Okay? So, homeschooling in the Philippines, we have one DepEd accredited homeschool providers. Pag sinabing accredited homeschool providers, private schools that are compliant with DepEd's homeschool requirements. And independent homeschoolers, on the other hand, students here need not be enrolled in a DepEd accredited homeschool provider. Diba? So, to further deepen our knowledge, when you say DepEd accredited homeschool providers, ganito po yan. In the Philippines, providers of home education or homeschoolers can be categorized into two, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina. Now, students who are enrolled in a DepEd accredited homeschool provider are promoted every school year, provided that all requirements are accomplished. However, in independent homeschooling, dito po papasok ang happy homeschool, it's a different thing. So, allow me to deep dive po into this type of homeschooling. So again, independent homeschooling. So Vival's very own Happy Homeschool Project is under this category. So when I talk about independent homeschooling, allow me po to answer some of the frequently asked questions about it. Okay, so there we go. So one, of course, what is independent homeschooling? Okay, in independent homeschooling, parents are responsible for producing grade books, report cards, and transcripts of records for their own child. They're responsible for processing the requirements for their child to take the Philippine Educational Placement Test or the PEPT if they want their child to re-enter the formal educational system aligned with their child's grade level. So again, in independent homeschooling, let me just reiterate po, students are not promoted to the next level at the end of the academic year. Why? Because they still need to take and of course pass the PEPT to validate their learnings with their parents, with their tutors, and of course, in Vival, ang tawag po dito, learning specialists. Alright? So, question of course, what are the advantages of independent homeschooling? Actually, ito kanina almost the same with the benefits. So, allow me just to give emphasis po on the key points. So, parents of independent homeschoolers have more flexibility in customizing their child's curriculum and learning journey. They don't need to follow a formal school's curriculum or learning modality. They can hire learning service or tutorial service providers like Vival as needed to supplement homeschool teaching and learning. Okay? In independent homeschooling po, the main teachers of the students are their parents. But of course, it's inevitable that at times the parents would be very busy, diba? They cannot really dedicate a lot of time despite na gusto talaga nila, of course, for the education of their children dahil nga po sa sobrang busy ng schedule. So this is the very reason why Vival's Happy Homeschool is actually existing. It is to assist the independent homeschoolers by providing learning and tutorial services to help enhance and guide the learners and parents in their homeschooling journey. Okay? So, Again po, ang goal po ng happy homeschooling, gaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, is to assist the parents, is to provide education to the kids po. Lalo na yun dun sa mga kids mo na ang parents ay talagang sabihin natin, medyo busy po talaga sa work and of course attending to other tasks and duties. So now what are the disadvantages of independent homeschooling? Okay? So independent homeschoolers will lose the guidance and structure of formal schooling along with the support system of teachers and peers outside the school. Especially for the first-time homeschoolers and their parents, homeschooling may be extremely daunting given the time and resources needed for parents to put together a good curriculum for the child, find the right educational resources, design assessments, and most importantly, teach in the right way. Kaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, believe me, this is true. To be a teacher is not easy, especially right now. Diba? Especially right now in the 21st century, in the year 2020, to be a teacher is not easy. And of course, I'm pretty sure to be a parent is also a tedious task. So it is highly expected that when you do both at the same time, it will be very demanding, but at the same time, of course, fulfilling. So aside from the many things and obligation as main formators and educators to their children, if you do homeschooling, of course, parents of independent homeschoolers also need to put together documentation such as the transcript, the report card, and many more para po makapag-take yung mga bata ng PEPT. So in other words, mabigat po talaga yung trabaho. Yun ang disadvantages ng independent homeschooling. But of course, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, Vival's Happy Homeschool exists because Vival wants to assist you, the independent homeschoolers, of course, in fulfilling your missions as independent homeschoolers. So ito po mga bagay na to, i-explain ko po mamaya, pero ito po mga bagay na to, so solusyonan po ito ng Vival. Alright? So now, speaking, how can Vival help independent homeschoolers? Okay? So let me just clarify. Vival is not a DepEd accredited homeschool provider. Okay, so meaning to say, at the end of the school year, they would not be promoted to another level. Okay, so Happy Homeschool is designed to provide independent homeschoolers and their parents with a support system and infrastructure of the school while retaining the flexibility for parents and learners to customize their learning journey through interest-led activities. So in other words po, support system. Support system in terms of one, providing the curriculum, of course, sa mga instructional materials, considering that Vival, of course, is known as one of the biggest and, of course, most successful publishing houses in the Philippines, in the country, then definitely yung instructional materials that will be provided by Vival would be really quality. Diba? Quality talaga yung mga materials na yun. And of course, second, infrastructure, because Vival also has their own learning management system. Okay? Again, support system can be provided by Vival through the help also of the learning specialists. So the learning specialists would serve as the tutors kumbaga, of their children, teachers at the same time. So ganun po yung mangyayari. So on the other hand, of course, learners enrolled in the Happy Homeschool Project will also be using Vival's platform, which is Vival V-Smart School. So dito sa Vival V-Smart School, ang goal na to is to provide the experience that the students, baga parang experience when they are in a brick and mortar classroom. So this time, it would be done, of course, virtually. So in V-Smart School, students can answer modules, activities, browse articles, watch videos, conduct synchronous and asynchronous classes. And of course, gaya na sinabi ko kanina, this is where your children can meet Vival's learning specialists online, of course, to assist them in their homeschooling journey. So furthermore, Happy Homeschool supports learners and parents through the following. One, of course, providing subject matter expertise in teaching and guiding the learner in alignment with the DepEd curriculum based on the learner's grade level to ensure that the learners will be prepared to re-enter the formal school and that they would be at the same baseline level of competency as their school enrolled peers. In Viva's Happy Homeschool Project, again, students will be assisted by learning specialists. This learning specialist would serve as learning assistants or as tutors of the students of your children in their homeschooling journey. So they will help the students not only to acquire the knowledge, but also to develop the skills stated, of course, in the DepEd curriculum. So at the end of the school year, of course, we expect that the students, that the homeschool students under the Happy Homeschool Project of Bibal will also be able, of course, to develop the same level of competency, the same thing po with the students enrolled in a regular school. Second, Happy Homeschool supports learners and parents by providing the learners with a complete set of learning materials, including textbooks, workbooks, modules, online courseware, and interactive content to ensure curriculum-aligned learning. So Bibal will be providing a complete set of materials, which includes one, the Smart Happy Homeschool Kit, subscription to the Students Digest magazines or the Vival's SD magazines. They would also be receiving 4 issues of academic books kasi per quarter po ang issue nun. Worktext for science, for math, English, araling panlipunan, and of course, Filipino. So yung 5 major subjects po. Bakit po 5 major subjects? Because in the PEPT, ito po yung coverage, yung math, science, English, araling panlipunan, or social studies, and of course, Filipino. So doon din po tututok ang Happy Homeschool Project ng Tibay. Okay? So third, Happy Homeschool supports learners and parents by providing them with a rich daily program for interest-led and non-academic activities, including study groups to enrich the learning experience. So again po, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, one of the many issues being addressed to students who undergo homeschooling is that they're not able to develop fully their social skills. However, in this project po, Vival's Happy Homeschool Project, Vival ensured that these children po will be able to participate in various activities that would support and promote holistic development. Vival also created various clubs and organizations that students can join to enhance their skills in different fields. And of course, these are the things that I'm going to talk about later on as well. So in other words po, ang Vival, hindi lang sila naglock sa matuturuan ng mga bata. They will also be creating activities where students would be able to interact with one another, will also be interact with students, of course, of other ages as well. Okay? So number 4, Happy Homeschool supports learners and parents by supporting the parents with regular parent webinars and support conferences to guide them in facilitating home-based learning, including providing intervention and remediation support for learners. Gaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, the parents play a major role in the homeschooling journey of their children. So Happy Homeschool ensures that the communication between the learning specialists and the parents will be kept open and intact. Your child will also have a dedicated homeroom advisor, of course, and you will have the opportunity as parents to meet them, to meet the learning specialists of Vival's Happy Homeschool Project, also not only for academics, but also for the interested activities. So throughout the entire year, the parents will be given opportunities to establish regular checkpoints with the Happy Homeschool learning specialists and of course, management. All right. So in other words, open po, of course, lalong-lalo na kumbaga the parents will still, of course, serve as the teachers. So technically, Vival would assist them. So kung ganun po magiging system, dapat talaga open talaga yung line para at least Vival and of course together with the parents would really be able, of course, to address the needs of the students. And number 5, Happy Homeschool Project supports learners and parents by supporting the parents in putting together the required documentation for the PEPT and other national standards exams as needed. So again, students under the Happy Homeschooling program, together with the other students po ng independent homeschooling, it is a must for these students to take the PEPT before going back to formal schooling. Okay? So with this, Happy Homeschool commits itself to helping the students and the parents in preparing all the necessary documents for this exam. Okay? So normally, the parents of the homes of these students, independent homeschoolers, will manage everything. But if you would be part of the Vival's Happy Homeschool Project, then Vival will be the one to prepare the documentation for the PEPT para po sa inyo. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na what is the main reason why Vival's Happy Homeschool Project exists is to assist the parents. Of course, ang Vival naman talaga namang, di ba, sa atin, this pandemic, I'm a living witness of how generous they are in providing us webinars, free webinars, talagang para talaga para ma-address yung pangangailangan natin as teachers. But also right now, they're also extending help din naman po para sa mga parents. So talagang with regards to education, Vival is always there for us to assist us all the way. All right. So now, let us talk about the curriculum. Of course, lahat ng independent homeschoolers, actually kahit hindi independent homeschoolers talagang very concerned tayo with regards to curriculum. So, when we talk about the curriculum, okay, unahin natin, ano ang target audience ng Happy Homeschool? Dalawa po yan, okay? So, Happy Homeschool is designed for independent homeschoolers, learners whose parents have decided to defer formal learning during the next academic year, or learners who may have enrolled in a formal school but would like to supplement their existing learning program. Gaya po ng sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, ang Happy Homeschool Project po ng Vival, pwede pong isa, or talagang hindi talaga nag-enroll sa regular school. Ay na independent homeschooler siya, so gusto niya na may instructional materials, may mag-a-assist na learning specialist sa parents, then you would be, kumbaga, you're one of the target audience of Bibal's Happy Homeschool. Second, of course, yung mga students who are enrolled in a formal school pero would like to know more. Kumbaga, let's say for example, di ba, parang tutorial services din po kasi siya in a way. So, let's say for example, you want to clarify specific things, you want to learn more about the specific stuffs, you want additional, kumbaga, instructional materials for your education, then you can also enroll, of course, in this Happy Homeschool project. Okay? Next. So is Happy Homeschool a DepEd accredited school? Gaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, I need to reiterate this from time to time, it is not. Okay? Hindi po. Hindi po ang Happy Homeschool hindi po regular school. Okay? So Happy Homeschool helps parents of independent homeschoolers to teach their learners, provide learning materials, and assess independent homeschoolers. So if you're, for example, an independent homeschooler, you teach your child. So ano po magiging role ng Happy Homeschool? One, to give you instructional materials. Two, to assist you in teaching your your kids. And of course, three, to provide you assessment tools that would be able to help your kid prepare for the PEPT. Okay? So, now, what is Happy Homeschool curriculum? Ano po ba ang curriculum na sinusundan ng Happy Homeschool? So, of course, Happy Homeschool's curriculum combines DepEd's K-12 curriculum as aligned to the most essential learning competencies or the MELCs and interest-driven learning. So throughout the entire school year, learners will attend online classes taught by Bival's learning specialists, take offline modular self-paced courses, and will join non-academic programs and special courses based on their interests and learning journey. So gaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, ang curriculum po dito is a combination of academics, the 5 major subjects, English, Math, Science, Filipino, and Araling Panlipunan. And of course, since when I talk about homeschooling po kasi, homeschooling uses an open curriculum. So with this, Bival integrated the multiple intelligences curriculum in its courses and offerings promoting interest-driven learning. All right. So again, K-12 curriculum on English, Math, Filipino, Science, Araling Panlipunan, which also happens to be the 5 courses po that the students kumbaga will be taking in the PEPT po. So the exams po would be about these 5 major subjects. But then again, with regards to kumbaga Bibal's kumbaga talaga initiative na interest-driven din para hindi naman din mabore yung mga bata na puro ACADS lang, of course, nag-create din po sila ng interest-led activities. So they have art club, ticketing book club, arithmetic club, young scientist club, glee club, online sports club, Bible readers club, young entrepreneurs club, journalism club, online theater arts club. So here, kung mapapansin niyo po, Bibal also created various groups and organizations that the students can join para at least may time din sila to interact with the other, kumbaga, students po of their ages and of course with other people din po belonging to other ages. So dito, ang goal dito, of course, number 1, is to address the learners' preferences, the interest of the students, and second, of course, to be able to provide opportunities for the students to develop as well their social skills. Okay? So aside from that, of course, ayan. So aside from that, of course, Bibal also have yung kanilang courses po, special courses nila na i-discuss ko din po mamaya. So yun. Okay? So, yan. So my child is not enrolled in Happy Homeschool. Can I still enroll him in your interest-led activities? Unfortunately, interest-led activities in the Happy Homeschool project are only for the Happy Homeschoolers. However, you can enroll your child in standalone interest-led programs in Bival's Happy Homeschool portal. So let's say for example po, hindi kayo nag-enroll dito sa Happy Homeschool and gusto nyo ng interest-led program ng Bival, may mga ibang offerings pa rin naman po si Bival. Pero yung mga pinakita ko po kanina, this is not possible because Happy Homeschooling only offers its services to the students and to the parents who avail of the services of the program. This is also Bival's way to ensure that the homeschooling of their kids, of their children, and especially the learning experiences under the program will be exclusive and not shared outside the Happy Homeschooling community. Okay? Ayan. So now, kanina po binanggit ko special courses, di ba? So ano po yung special courses offered by Bival? So special courses are elective subjects covering ICT, writing and communication, TLE, MAPE, and others, which will be conducted outside the regular class schedule. Parents may opt to enroll their child in special courses, but this is not required. Gaya po ng sinabi ko kanina sa inyo, 5 lang po talagang subjects under the Happy Homeschool Project. So if the students want to learn more about, for example, interest-led activities, special courses, then this would be kumbaga add-ins, additional na po ito. So kung mag-enroll po sila, let's say for example, in one of the special courses, then of course, kumbaga another schedule would be given to them, and they would also be assisted by learning specialists po for this specific courses. All right. So what are these specific courses? So we have Vival will be having art and music course, writing and communication courses, code camp wizards, ICT courses, and then the like. So I asked them po with regards to uh, the specific courses already that Happy Homeschool will be offering. So right now, definitely Vival is still developing po. Kumbaga talagang this is specific courses para mas ma-fit po talaga yung interest po ng mga bata and yung pangangailangan po ng mga bata. But to give you an idea, for art and music courses, Vival will help your children learn how to play musical instruments, enrich their skills, for example, in art, such as in singing, in painting, in drawing, and many more. For writing and communication courses, your children will experience attending to various speaking activities that would improve their social skills and public speaking skills. For writing, of course, Vival will be offering journalistic courses, creative writing courses, and then the like. So for ICT courses, itong Code Camp Wizards po. So Vival will also offer this course po. Kaya lang, kumbaga ito, specific po talaga ito, again, dun sa Happy Homeschool program po. Okay? So these are just some of the many offerings that Vival will be giving to the students of the Happy Homeschool Project. So of course, if you're now interested to, kumbaga, to attend, to enroll your child in this project, syempre ang isang major concern natin would be the classes. So how will classes be conducted? Pupunta ba sila ng Vival's office o pupuntahan ba sila ng Vival sa bahay nila? So this is the answer po. Okay? So when do classes start? Unahin natin yan. So classes will start on August 31 and will end on May 2020. Happy Homeschool will cover the full 4 terms of the academic school year 2020. So, academic classes are conducted 4 times a week in the morning lang po. Interest-led activities will be scheduled in the afternoon together po with the special courses. So, yun ang schedule po na nakita ko dito sa Happy Homeschool Project. But of course, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, right now po, talagang ang Vival po exerting their best effort para mas mapaganda pa po yung program. Okay? Alright, so next. How will classes be taught and facilitated? Ito yung tinatanong ko kanina. Magkikita ba kayo? Magkikita ba ang mga bata, ang mga parents at ang learning specialists? So classes composed of 15 to 20 students will be taught synchronously by licensed professional teachers or Vival's very own learning specialists using Vival V-Smart School, Vival's online school platform. Gaya po nung sinabi ko kanina sa inyo, V-Smart School, kumbaga, ang aim nito is to let the students experience the things that they experience inside the brick and mortar classroom virtually. Okay? So classes here in the Happy Homeschool Project will be conducted through the use of V-Smart School and of course, through the use of various instructional materials such as the Smart Class or the Modular Class Book, the Smart Wizard or the workbook of this project, and the academic book which will serve as the student's main textbook. Right? So, yan. So, how will classes be taught and facilitated? It would not be done through blended learning. There would be no physical classes. Happy Homeschool implements a mixed ODL or online distance learning or modular distance learning. So in other words, distance learning po ang gagawin dito. In terms of equipping your children with the skills for helping the parents po teach the students, teach the homeschool children with regards to the things that they need to know. Again, let me just clarify po, learners will not be required to undergo blended learning, which is a mixture of face-to-face or distance learning at any point throughout the next academic year, school year 2020-2021. All right. So now, of course, pag nag-homeschool ka, ang pinaka-concern mo din, I think sa mga nakita kong social media groups, ito talaga yung talagang pinag-uusapan. Of course, the learning materials and devices. So what would be the specific materials that Vival will provide you? Gaya ng sinabi ko po sa inyo kanina, of course, Vival is known not just for providing assistance sa parents, sa teachers, sa educators, sa formators, but Vival, of course, is known for producing quality instructional materials, books, modules, magazines, and then the like. So of course, ito talaga siguro yung best part ng ating Happy Homeschool Project. Okay? So is Happy Homeschool enrollment fee inclusive of books and other learning materials? Yes. Happy Homeschools enrollment fee is inclusive of books and supplemental learning materials. And of course, what are the things that would be included in these materials? One would be the academic books. Second would be the Smart Homeschool Kit. And third would be the SD Magazine. So for us to see kung gaano kaganda at gaano ka-useful itong mga materials na to, ayan, allow me po to tour you sa ating instructional materials. All right. So academic books, again, from kinder to grade 10. Okay? So, ito po yung itsura ng book. So, pag nakita niyo po yung book, if you actually attended, if I'm not mistaken, the webinar po of Dr. Aguirre, pinakita ni Dr. Aguirre itong book na to, kung paano siya gamitin. So, this is the book po that will be used in this specific project. Okay? So, again, the academic books, grades kinder to 10, Vivas academic books, series of work texts, from grades 1 to 10, actually kinder, sorry, compiling and sequencing lessons written by Vival's expert team of educators in math, science, Filipino, Araling Panlipunan, and English for the first quarter or worth 10 weeks of learning. So again po, ito pong academic books. Napansin niyo po, isang libro lang po siya, di ba kanina? Isang libro po siya, pero andun na po yung 5 subjects. Okay? Andun na po yung 5 subjects at andun po yung lahat po ng kailangan nila for the first quarter. So bakit po yung 5 subjects? Again, para sa mga kaka-tune in lang po sa ating webinar today, because these are the 5 subjects that would be, of course, used as the coverage po of the PEPT. So ito yung iti-take ng lahat ng bata under the Happy Homeschool program. Okay? So when I talk about these academic books, furthermore, each book is between 450 to 496 pages, printed in full color, and contains curriculum-aligned lessons and assessments. Designed to serve as the core modular work text for the Learn at Home kit, the academic books are published quarterly to ensure that the parents, the guardians, and the teachers alike can pick and choose the pace of the students' learning while at home and, of course, while offline. So again, these academic books can be used for both synchronous and asynchronous learning. So synchronous po with the learning facilitators, asynchronous po, of course, with the parents. Okay, pag si student as si parent na nag-aaral. So should the students want to further deepen their knowledge about their lessons, then the students and their parents may use these books not only to guide them, but also to assess if they're able to acquire the knowledge and develop the skills needed and stated, of course, in the DepEd's curriculum. So these academic books, again, are issued quarterly to make learning more organized and more guided for both the students and their parents. Kung napansin nyo po, nakalagay din ng full color. Bakit po full color? Full color po kasi, of course, gaya ng sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, Vival's Happy Homeschool Project wants to address the learners' preferences. And according to various brain researches, yung color din po nakaka-apekto rin sa attention span ng bata. And definitely as teachers, as formators, as educators, talagang yung attention span ng bata, ito sa mga challenges natin ngayon. So kahit yung simpleng full color po, this would help, of course, you in ensuring na talagang mas kahit papano, mas maging focus yung bata sa pag-aaral po niya. Alright? Next, of course, is the Smart Homeschool Kit. Ayan. So kasama rin po ito dun sa package ng inclusions po once you actually enrolled in the in the Happy Homeschool Project. So the Smart Homeschool Kit po, again, kinder to grade 10, consists of Smart Wizard, a 296-page workbook filled with activity sheets, drills and exercises, and Smart Class, a 300-page daily class book that contains pre-printed daily lessons and performance tasks for 1 school year. So compared to the academic books, this Smart Homeschool Kit has fewer number of pages since it is more focused on the task that can be given to the students. Pero dalawa po ito ha. Pag sinabing Smart Homeschool Kit, merong Smart Wizard and merong Smart Class. Ayan. So isa-isahin po natin. Let's start first with the Smart Wizard. Okay? So for the Smart Wizard po, Smart Wizard K210 offers supplementary workbooks and activity sheets developed to cover key learning competencies aligned with DepEd's K-12 curriculum. Designed in 5 different subjects, science, math, English, Filipino, social studies, or Araling Panlipunan, same coverage po with the PEPT. These workbooks feature age-appropriate activities to challenge learners' understanding of the lessons and help them put the learnings into practice. Ayan, ito na naman po kanina, color. Ngayon, age-appropriate activities. Kasi po talaga sa Bibal, sa instructional materials, they really give importance po, premium po talaga ang pangangailangan ng bata, ang preferences po ng mga bata. So we talk about Smart Wizard. It offers a rich content, also of formative assessments, okay? Which of course could be in form of activities, quizzes, exercises that the students can answer, of course, to be prepared for the respective classes. Talk about formative assessment. These formative assessments are not graded. I mean, are not recorded, but could be graded, okay? Of course, these assessment tools, formative tests, are not graded but are checked and recorded. Why recorded po? Kasi syempre dito nakikita ni teacher, dito nakikita ng parents, ay, ang baba pa na dito, so parang hindi pa na naiintindihan. Ay, ang taas na consistent, so pwede na tayo mag-move sa next lesson. So of course, through the use of this formative assessment, the parent, the teachers would be able to identify the specific areas that must be deepened, determine the strengths and the weaknesses of the students, and of course, provide intervention if it is needed, diba? Especially to the specific subjects, areas, topics that the students are encountering difficulties. Okay, the goal of formative assessment, of course, is to monitor student learning, promote immediate feedback, improve instruction, and of course, promote, technically, of course, improve the entire learning process. So yan po yung Smart Wizard. So more on activities po siya. Yung kanina naman po, Smart Class, okay? Ayan. So aligned with DepEd's K-12 curriculum, Smart Class K-10 that presents daily lesson with performance tasks good for an entire academic year. Available in 5 different subjects, again, science, math, English, Filipino, and social studies or Araling Panlipunan. These pre-printed daily lessons aim to guide parents in teaching their children at home while ensuring that the lessons cover key curricular areas and learning competencies prescribed by the Department of Education. So dito naman po, Smart Class, on the other hand, focuses on the performance tasks and daily lessons of the students. So ito, magandang gamit po to for the teachers. So baga, this is more of a guide for the teachers and the parents, di ba? In making the homeschooling journey of their children more engaging, more fun, and of course, worthwhile. Ayan. So, madami-dami na po akong pinakita ng instructional materials, pero hindi pa po doon nagtatapos. Of course, Bibal, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, if those students po who would be under the Happy Homeschool Project would also be receiving specific issues po of the SD or the Students Digest magazine under Bibal. So, ayan po yung tsura niya. Pag tinignan niyo po, mas madami. Kasi po, ang coverage nito, hindi lang po sa 5 learning areas. So, even in the other learning areas po. Okay? So, the SD magazines, ayan, again, from kinder to grade 10, are available in 8 subjects. So, for science and technology, for math, for ICT or computer, social studies or Araling Panlipunan, for English, for Filipino, for TLED, and values po, andyan lahat yan. So, may kanya-kanyang specific brand ng magazine or name ng magazine for each learning area. Okay? So, again, lastly, also part of the kit of the Happy Homeschoolers, of course, would have to be the SD magazines that, of course, would cover, again, not only the 5 major subjects. So, going above na tayo sa coverage ng PEPT. Okay? So, when I talk about the SD magazines, gaya ng sinabi ko po, of course, meron din tong, of course, curriculum support material designed for the global Filipino learner. It comes with teacher's edition and answer key. So 4 quarterly issues, 16 to 24 pages, vivid full color pages per issue, various activities that adhere to K-12 curriculum performance standards. So just like the academic book, the Smart Wizard, the Smart Class, the SD magazines also aim, of course, to help the students to deepen their understanding of their lessons. So the SD magazines contain not only assessment, okay, but also various readings, various articles that can really help the parents, of course, kumbaga, and the students enhance the entire homeschooling journey. Saka, ang maganda po nito for the parents, kapag nahihirapan tayo, meron din pong teacher's edition. So the teacher's edition, of course, would contain kung paano gagamitin yung SD magazine, of course, the answer key to specific activities and the like. All right? So, now, how will you get these books and learning materials? Siyempre, ito concern to ng lahat ngayon. Considering that there's pandemic, iniiwasan talaga natin lumabas, di ba? So, here, a flat delivery for learning materials for the next academic year is charged upon checkout. Since academic books, Smart Wizards, Smart Class, and SD magazines come out quarterly, you can expect Vival to deliver your child's quarterly learning kit 4 times to your home, but you can also pick up these learning materials. Gaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, 4 times po. Bakit 4 times? Kasi quarterly po ang issue. Okay? So para mas organized po at hindi kayo na-overwhelmed na, ay, ang daming gamit, ang daming haaralin, ang daming ko ituturo sa anak ko, di ba? So if you're choosing the delivery po, you have to be reminded that Vival runs their own delivery program. So if you're choosing the delivery, only Vival's representatives will deliver materials po sa bahay niyo po. But of course, should you want to go to the office of Vival and pick them up, possible naman po yun. So of course, it would be your own option po. Kasi if you're going to have it delivered, of course, you have to pay additional delivery fee. All right, now, can the parents and students use other learning materials? Of course, the answer here is yes. Diba? It's a big yes. Parents and students are free to supplement happy homeschool learning materials with other resources. So parents being the main formators, parents being the main educators of these homeschool children, the curriculum is flexible. All years po yan. So kung gusto nyo pong dagdagan, may nakita kayo for example na book na galing sa United States na tingin nyo kaya ng anak nyo, go ahead. But of course, you have to be reminded that your kids, of course, may ibang kakayanan yan. Baka mamaya, the curriculum that the book that you plan to use would be too high. Baka ma-frustrate yung bata. Baka naman too low, baka mabore lalo yung bata. So these are the things that you have to consider as well. Okay? So again, the package inclusions po, of course, lahat po yan, kahit po, standard po yan. So let's say for example, gusto nyo magdagdag ng libro, tapos ayaw nyo nang gamitin to. Hindi po siya pwedeng tanggalin because it cannot be deducted from the total enrollment fees unless you previously bought the required learning materials from Vival's online shop. And of course, kung ganun po, you just need to tell Vival po that you already availed the materials po ahead of time or before po. Okay? What about assessment? Okay? Paano naman po ang assessment sa Happy Homeschool Project? Okay? So, how do you assess my child's learning? So happy homeschool teachers or learning specialists will conduct assignments, performance tasks, quizzes, and other types of formative assessments, unit tests, and periodic tests as if they are in a formal school. Kaya lang po, ulitin ko po, kahit po ma-perfect niya lahat yan, hindi po yan kagaya ng regular school na, uy, ano siya, next level na siya, baka mamaya promoted pa to accelerated pa, hindi po. And why? Because they need to take the PEPT. Iba po 'yun. Magkaiba po yung grades na ilalabas ng Happy Homeschool sa grades na ilalabas of course ng isang regular school. Bakit po maglalabas ang Happy Homeschool ng grades? Kasi po it's a means to guide the parents na one, for example, baksak yung bata. At least the parents would know ano ang expectation na for the PEPT. Kung pasado yung bata at mataas, the parents would have an idea na ito yung okay siya. 'Di ba? Same thing din po sa inyo as the main educators, for example, mababa yung bata, you will have the idea, okay, kailangan ko tutukan yung anak ko. Kasi mababa siya eh. So it means na hindi niya nakukuha pa yung skill, hindi pa niya nakukuha yung knowledge. So the more that the parents need to dedicate more time, a lot more time, of course, in teaching their child. Okay? So will you receive the report of their child's performance? Yes, you will receive still quarterly report cards aside from the inputs that your child's teacher or learning specialist will provide you during the scheduled parent-teacher conferences throughout the term. At the end of the school year and prior to the PEPT upon request, Vival will provide your child's transcript of records and report card as required by the DepEd's Bureau of Assessment, which I already mentioned earlier. Sabi ko po kanina, ang Vival po, isa po kasi yan sa mga requirements for the PEPT. So Vival will be doing the documentation for you to is the job. Para mas madali po. So partnership po talaga siya between the independent homeschoolers and of course, the Happy Homeschool Project of Vival. All right, so now let me go to the last part of my presentation today. Of course, the Philippine Educational Placement Test. Baka po kasi iniisip ng iba, ano ba yun? Ano ba yung PEPT na yan, di ba? So the PEPT, of course, is a requirement. Ang tanong nito, is my child required to take the PEPT? Yes. PEPT is required for learners outside the formal school system, okay? Such as, of course, the independent homeschoolers. So, who wish to enroll in an accredited DepEd school or to re-enter the formal school system. So, the PEPT results will determine your child's grade level depending on your child's age and ability. So, let's say, for example, kunwari po, this year, nag-enroll po, nag-independent homeschooling kayo. Kahit po hindi under Vival, hindi kayo nag-enroll ng Happy Homeschool, say for example. Nag-independent homeschool kayo, tapos next year babalik po yung bata sa regular school. So hindi po yan makakabalik sa regular school ng tataas po siya ng isang level if the kid would not be able to pass the PEPT. So why? Because the PEPT is an equivalency exam where learning experiences gained out of school are given equivalency and placement in the formal school system by grade level. Of course, that is appropriate for the examiner's age and ability. So requirement po talaga siyang i-take. Okay? So can the PEPT results be used for college applications? Unfortunately, no. Okay, please note that if your child is moving from grade 10 to senior high school, he or she is required to take the PEPT. However, your child has to finish senior high school in a DepEd accredited school in order for them to qualify for college. Students can no longer be homeschooled in senior high school. Okay, hanggang junior high lang po yan. They can also be enrolled in college if they will not graduate from a DepEd accredited senior high school because, of course, that is part already of the law. Okay, so yeah. Okay. So next, are homeschooled students required to take PEPT every year? PEPT is not required to be taken every year, although it is advisable for the students to take it yearly or annually to determine and validate their learning progress. If you only intend to homeschool your children in one academic year and re-enroll them in the formal school system, then your child needs to take the PEPT prior to that academic year or the enrollment of that academic year. If you intend to homeschool your child indefinitely, they do not need to take the PEPT every year until the time comes when you do decide to have them re-enter the formal school system. So gaya po ng sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, I tried to read a number of articles, stories with regards to the PEPT. Ang personally po, sa lahat ng nabasa ko, ang laging sinasabi po doon is that ang pinaka-best daw is to take it either annually or every other year. Bakit? Kasi let's say, for example, you homeschooled your child for 6 years. So, after nun, mag-PEPT yung bata. Pero yung PEPT na iti-take ng bata would not be covering only the lessons for 1 year, but would be covering the lessons you discussed for 6 years. So, para siyang 6 PEPTs combined into one. So, mabigat. Mahabang-mahaba yung exam. So, kaya ang advisable is either to take it annually or every other year para at least ako every other year, medyo fresh pa din yung information, hindi ganun, kumbaga hindi ganun nakakalimutan agad ng bata. All right. So there you go. So those are the details that you need to know about the Happy Homeschool Project. But of course, I'd like to believe that you have a lot of concerns pa po. Kumbaga, marami pa tayong inquiries. Siyempre, if it's for the education of our children, definitely, kumbaga, our full attention talaga is nandito talaga. So, I'd like to post to you the contact information should you have a specific inquiries that you'd like to that you'd like Vival to answer. So you may reach Vival through their education services head, Miss Sara Sunga, and Happy Homeschool Program Coordinator, Miss Michelle Orosio at happyhomeschool@vivalgroup.com or through +632-858 97400. Again po, let me read it po for you. You may reach Vival if you have, like, for example, other inquiries through their education service head, Ms. Sara Sunga, and Happy Homeschool Program Coordinator, Ms. Michelle Orosio at happyhomeschool@vivalgroup.com or through +632 858-97400. And of course, Vival's Happy Homeschool executives would be very happy, di ba, to assist you, of course, in your homeschooling journey. So kung meron po kayong tanong, may inquiries po kayo, just message po Vival. I'm pretty sure Vival would be answering po as soon as, of course, we can. All right? So, remember, ito po, allow me to end this presentation bago tayo mag-Q&A. Ayan, bago po tayo mag-Q&A, allow me po to end this presentation here, okay? So, I started this presentation with a quote. And I'd like to end this presentation as well with a quote, okay? When you homeschool, the world is your classroom, okay? So learning does not end inside the four walls of a brick and mortar classroom. It must go beyond these traditional learning stations. Students learn best when they experience it. No doubt, this is one of the best features of homeschooling, because in homeschooling, the students are given the chance, the opportunity to experience what the world can offer. And of course, these experiences would give them learning experiences that they will truly never forget. So I hope you were able, of course, to learn a lot of things and gain new insights in our presentation today. Ayan. Thank you so much po. So, ayan, Miss Kia already will be giving specific questions po that I would be trying, I would be, of course, answering with regards to our presentation po today. Ayan, Miss Kia.
Yes, sir. Hello po. Thank you very much, Sir Joram, for the session this morning. So let's now proceed with our Q&A. So the
Okay
first
po.
question, sir, came from Miss Milagros Vencer. Problem lang po if parents are working or some learners live on their own without elders with them. Nobody can assist them to learn their learning materials. Can they join their neighbors in doing their learning materials?
Ayan. Thank you, Miss Kia, for that question. Thank you, Miss Milagros Vencer. Ayan po. So, just like what I mentioned to you for earlier, Vival's Happy Homeschool Project po, there would be learning specialists. So, the learning specialists themselves po can already serve as assist, kumbaga can already provide for the assistance that the students will be needing po for their homeschooling journey. So, kumbaga, the lessons po would be taught as well by these learning specialists. But of course, yung parents po, in their most convenient time, they can assist, di ba? They can provide assistance din po para at least mas kumbaga talagang ma-build din natin ano ba yung purpose ng homeschooling is also to strengthen the bond between the parents and the students. So, syempre ma-achieve din yun of course if the parents themselves as well would be serving as the educators also of their children. Pero with regards for the assistance, yes, the answer is yes kasi nga po Bibal will be providing of course kumbaga the assistance of learning specialists, licensed professionals po ito. Ayun.
Okay po, sir. So let's proceed now to our second question, which is from Mr. Rossini Urbano de Malata. Question, sir, what tips can you give if you have three kids in different levels, preschool, grade 2, and grade 5, that will be homeschooled this school year? Thanks. Ayun po.
Ayan. So, thank you po for that question, Ms. Rossini Urbano de Malata. Okay, ako po, personally, to be honest, homeschooling is not easy. Just like what I mentioned earlier, being a teacher is already tiring. Diba? Being a parent definitely is a daunting task, challenging. So to be both at the same time, especially with three kids, talagang very time-consuming po yan. So ako, ang suggestion ko, one, of course, look for, kabaga talagang schedule. One, set a schedule po. Kailangan talaga maayos talaga yung schedule natin kasi mahirap po, 'di ba? Baka mamaya mapabayaan natin yung mga bata eh. Kasi education po and of course this is something that they will be needing to become successful in the future. So ako po ang suggestion ko, kung tatlo po 'yan, there will be specific areas naman po kasi. Lalo na po K-12 curriculum. K-12 curriculum is a spiral curriculum. So this spiral curriculum po, so may mga lessons po na naulat. But of course, if it's for example grade 2 and then grade 5, mas malalim na yung sa grade 5. So may mga learning materials po tayo na magagamit din natin of course. Kumbaga para doon sa tatlong levels na yun. But of course, you have to enhance, you have to enrich po. So if you for example will be enrolling in Happy Homeschool program, then yung difference po doon sa tatlong yon would be easily addressed kasi po they would be having different learning specialists po for grade 2, for preschool, and for grade 5. Pero siguro po, another tip that I will be able to give you, kasi di ba sabi nga nila, the beauty of homeschooling kasi is that they are able to experience the things that, kumbaga, outside, kumbaga talagang sa labas ng brick and mortar classroom. So for example, kunyari, ang tinuro mo, for example, communication skills, tinuruan mo sila paano makipag-usap. Then, ganun din po, siguro same thing sa labas, you can easily train them all at the same time. Kaya lang po, sabi ko nga po sa inyo, syempre, it would be very tiring, it would be very time-consuming, and it would be very demanding. Lalo na po tatlo yan. Pero kumbaga talagang one of the parents really need to stop working. Talagang kailangan full-time po tayo kasi mabigat po talaga yung demands, lalo na po nito na tatlo po ito at mga bata pa po ito. Kasi pag young learners, based on kumbaga based on researches, mas mahirap po ang ang homeschooling rather sa lower level, sa younger learners kaysa po sa mga mas matured na kasi syempre they're not really used to education, and at kapag bata pa po kasi minsan iniisip nila yun nga, when is it time for fun, when is the time for fun, when is the time for education. So you really have to draw the line between both. Kailangan talaga discipline sila doon, kailangan talaga malinaw po yun sa part na yun. Ayun po.
Okay po, sir. So next, let's proceed to the next question po. This is from
Sige
Miss
po.
Janet Sevilla. Is there any fee for Vival's Happy Homeschool? Thank you po.
Yes po, Vival Happy Homeschool Project po. May of course, yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken po, the enrollment is already ongoing. So should you wish po, for example, to get more information about the project, I will be sending po, and si Miss Kia po, send po namin yung website link. Everything po that you need to know about the homeschool project, the Happy Homeschool Project, including the fees, is already posted po doon sa online po, sa website po. If I'm not mistaken, even the enrollment process po would be done po online. So, isa-send na lang po namin ni Miss Kia yung website po, yung link po ng website sa Happy Homeschool sa chat po. Ipipin comment po para at least makita po nating lahat. Ayun.
Okay po, sir. Thank you very much. And for our last question this morning, this is from Miss or Mr. Pot Bandal Fernandez. How will the assessment be given, online or offline, by the teaching specialist or the parent will give it?
Ayan. Thank you for that question, Miss Pot Bandal Fernandez. I hope I'm pronouncing your names right. Okay, so earlier I made mention po that the Happy Homeschool project will be using Vival's Be Smart School. So if we'll be using Vival's Be Smart School, na-tour ko na po kasi yan. Na-try kong gamitin yung Be Smart School. So the assessments po can be done online. Okay, the assessment po can be done online, and the parents po did not check it because it would be computer generated. So it would be conducted po synchronously. But of course, at the same time, there would be specific exams, of course, that the parents would be conducting on their own. Lalo na kung gusto nyo talaga na sobrang personalized talaga yung homeschooling ng journey ng mga bata. So you can create your own. The parents can create their own assessment. The parents can provide specific assessments para doon sa mga bata. But at the same time, of course, Vival's learning specialist will be providing also specific assessments po online through the Vival V Smart School learning management system. Ayun po.
Okay po, sir. So that's all the questions we can accommodate for now. So before we end the session this morning, Sir Joram, do you have any final reminders to our viewers this morning?
Ayan po, siguro final reminder na lang po is that again, for more information po, ipa-flash ko ulit ito. Wait lang po, ayan. Wait lang po for a while. Ayan. So, again, for more information po, you may reach Vival through their education service head, Ms. Sara Sunga, and Happy Homeschool Program Coordinator, Ms. Michelle Rosso, at happyhomeschool@vivalgroup.com or through +632-858-97400. Also, ipipin comment po namin ni Ms. Kia yung Happy Homeschool website where you can check po the rates po, the enrollment fees, and then the like. So, ayun po. Hopefully, I was able, of course, to help you out po in exploring the different modes of education that we can, actually, kumbaga, have especially in the next academic year. Ayan po. Thank you po.
There we have it. Thank you very much po, Mr. Joram Corcuera, for this very insightful and informative morning that you spent with all of us. In behalf of Vival Group Incorporated, thank you very much po, sir. And of course, to all our Kavibal viewers, thank you as well for spending your morning with us to discuss about homeschooling. As what Mr. Corcuera said, our link for the Happy Homeschool product is already pinned in our comment section here on the live streaming in Facebook. So again, once again, thank you very much for all of us, and happy weekend to everyone. See you to the next webinars we will be having this afternoon, tomorrow, and next week. Maraming salamat po at magandang araw sa ating lahat.
Thank you po. Stay safe.